welcome. So I found a book called All Tomorrows and it's interesting. You've probably seen this somewhere or on your YouTube recommendation, but if you never heard of it, it's a story written and illustrated by C.M. Cosman, and it's a book in science fiction format about what humanity would become millions years in the future. And since half the population never heard about this book, I'm going to give you a summary of this book. The story began at a point in the distant future where humanity terraforms and then colonized the planet Mars. After a while, the people that stepped on planet Mars, also known as Martians, began to develop their own identity, separate the Earth. Global gravity made them taller and thin. As time went on, the two planets coexisted peacefully. But as Mars began to surpass Earth, they began to have war. A few hundred years later, they saw what damage that they caused and began to work together to ensure that this would never happen again, since there's hundreds of people dying in that war. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Never mind, there's a billion people dying in that war and humanity almost went extinct, so it makes sense why they began to reunite it again. The survivors came together and genetically modified the humanity into a new species called the Star People. They made to be better, smarter, and made humanity look like idiots and adapted to expand into space. The Star People created a machine to terraform all the world and then germinate them into genetic materials for people. Now working together, the Star People were able to terraform and colonize plenty of planets all throughout the galaxy. In the middle of colonizing all of the entire galaxy, on one of the planets, they found a bird-like creature that has 4 limbs and calcium bones similar to an extinct dinosaur on Earth. But remember, this wasn't Earth, so the question began, how did it get in here? This led many people to believe that there was an intelligent aliens that roaming around the galaxy. Humanity hoped that these aliens would be peaceful, but just in case, they built a powerful weapon to defend themselves, so powerful in fact that they could obliterate stars. And they were right. There was an alien about to attack humanity called the Q. But what they didn't expect, however, is that the weapons doesn't do anything at all. Well, that's not correct. What do I mean is that the weapon is not enough to kill the Q. The Q had a mission to remake the universe using a genetic manipulation, so when they found human, they only see them as an object to be changed to whatever shape they want. In just under 1,000 years, the Q completely destroyed humanity and shaped them into 1,000 of bizarre subspecies. But in the book, there's 19 subspecies that we've seen so far. Now, I can't mention every subspecies because this video is gonna be long, but I will mention what the interesting one. This included the worms. They dig aimlessly underground and they are blind and not smart. So if they found each other, they either eat the other one or reproduce. The predators look like a combination between a vampire and a werewolf and has a little bit of human intelligence along with the prey, which is just a dumber version of the predators and only exists to be eaten. The Colonials are a defensive group of Star People who fought off the Q 2 times before defeated by the third. As punishment, they were turned into a living sheet of fresh brick they used to filter the Q's waste. But you know what the best part? Is that they can still see everything they're doing and they are intelligent enough to understand what's going on. Insectophagi, they eat insects and have radio face to protect their face from bite. They live quite unnoticed and no one knows that they exist. And that's it, there's nothing interesting about it, but they have a very important role to the story. And finger fisher, basically their entire purpose are to catch and eat fish with their long finger, and they're also my favorite for a specific reason that we get later on. However, there is one group of humans who have untouched by the Q, not on any other planet, but they escape into the empty void of space and they become the Spacers. The Spacers built home inside asteroids, and with zero gravity, they adapted by growing long thin limbs and pressurized the digestive system so they could move around by falling at velocity speed. They are just relaxing there that they just don't care about their human relative being turned to this. But that doesn't mean hope was lost for humanity. In 40 million years, when the Qs turned every human into their new shape, they just live, meaning they are the counter species that struggle to survive alone in their own world. However, many of these species were able to evolve back from being small again. The worms, for example, evolved into snake people. These snake people had vast cities and tunnels to underground of their planet and homes. They enjoy books and music played to vibration in the ground, and they develop a hand at the end of their tails. The predators evolved into jerk frogs. Their society evolving into violence, and the prey continued to be eaten and farmed. The colonials evolved into separate colonies and started competing against other colonies by killing each other. The winner became the modular people. Their body could combine themselves or split apart or extend apart to other modular people. And more the fingerfisher that I mentioned like a minute ago, well, they turned into a boat people named sail people. I don't know why they just turned into a boat. I guess they want to. Okay. And finally, Insectophagi become the bug facers, like many other WL civilizations, but they were attacked by unknown Aryan race. No one really knows much about the Aryan itself, but it's an intense war. This stormy conflict led to the bug facer fear of the other post-human, so when others start to reach each other, the bug facer stays silent. Some post-human like the bug facer don't join the aliens, but most of them join in and expand to new worlds and cooperated by sharing their knowledge and technology, and stay like this for almost 80 million years. And of course, when something good like this happens, it means that disaster is going to happen, and soon enough it was. Well, you see, there's one other post-human that didn't join the aliens, and that is the Ring Hunter. They're like any other species twisted by the Qs. The only difference is that they're completely insane and almost destroyed the entire planet. But on their world, the city of the Star People hadn't been completely destroyed, as you can see from the image, and inside was an technology with a questionable power. There was no knowledge just how much damage this technology would cause if it in the hand of those terrible people. But the Ruin Hunter had access to this technology and started messing around with it until they started to completely abandon their bodies and replace them with a machine called the Gravitals. Unsurprisingly, with the amount of damage that this machine would cause, they went completely sicko mode and began to eliminate all of the other humans' life except the bugfacer. They kept them as a subject into experiment and turned them into 100 species named subsects. Very clever name. And now finally the spacers evolved into astromorphs, now become more alien, smarter, stronger, terrifying, and relying their fast to move instead. See, these two actually watch each other for millions of years, Gravitar on land while the spacers into space. These two are insanely powerful and both afraid that the world could destroy them both. The Gravitar however are more afraid due to the astromorphs being more powerful than them. But after a while, they decided to fall on sicko mode and went to war with them anyway. Surprisingly, the Gravitar were defeated. The astromorph took the subject and created world for them to live in, while the remains of the Gravitar used as a mining labor. The astromorph want to make sure that no crazy lunatic would not kill the galaxy like the last time, so they decided to create a small version of themselves called the Terrestrial to live on the human's world and take off the planet. There was some casualty along the way, stuff like the Terrestrials themselves being a crazy lunatic and started making a cult and saving their subjects, but for the most part humanity was safe to expand and grow, and they met a friend fox on the way like the Insectophagi, a snake that had other snakes inside their body. After a while, a researcher located the birthplace of humanity. After half billions of years of being away from the Earth, humans returned to their homeworld where they originally belong. And that's it on the video. I'm sorry that video is long and wasting your time watching video. And by the way, you can book free, just search it up. And bye bye.